Hi, I'm Chris from Airwindows. If I don't seem as lively and full of beans as usual, it's because I've been sick for a week. So I'm going to try to do this video anyway, because I have something fun to do, and it is a variation on Dither Me Timbers. This is called RawTimbers, but it also comes with the opposite, RawGlitters. Now I'll explain what this is. Dither Me Timbers is not a dither. It's a sort of weird tone shaping thing, and it does noise shaping, and what the noise shaping did was take what was getting done at the bottom bit of everything and smooth it out to make it more linear, but that caused a treble boost because what the algorithm of Dither Me Timbers was doing was stripping away high frequencies down at the very bottom of amplitude in a funny way. Well, I put in a update for Dither Me Timbers that means that it doesn't clip anymore when you're smashing audio. You shouldn't smash audio, really, you shouldn't. I realize that's the thing, and I realize that people fight against each other to try to be louder than the next guy and stuff, but I don't think there's a feature in that, so. But I did do the update anyway. And this is following it up with something kind of different. RawTimbers is only the algorithm for softening high frequencies out of Dither Me Timbers. There's nothing else. There's no noise shaping. There's no dithering. There's no anything. But since this was a much simpler algorithm, since this was something that it literally is only choosing whether you round up or down at any given moment, there's nothing else happens. And there's no noise shaping to have an effect on that. That meant it made sense to do a opposite version. In this case, if I had noise shaped this, it would have made the noise shaping be more dull. And since that's so much louder, that seemed kind of weird. But in this context, it works just fine. And I'm going to throw on Alien Kittens, because it's been a while and I saw somebody like it the other day. And soon enough, all of that will be gone. And I'll have different audio, I think, for 2019, because I've been doing the live streams. Anybody who's not paying attention to the live streams, that's Monday and Tuesday, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Monday is questions and answers. And Tuesday is music streaming. And I'm trying to get a cool thing for this next music streaming, because I have the transpo. I don't need to talk about that. I'll just show it to you. But, or people can ask me questions about it on Monday. Anyways, I'm running out of steam. I'm still not very well. Hopefully I'll get better over, Christmas week. But here is Alien Kittens and TPDF and truncation. And here is RawTimbers. But wait, there's more. Here's RawGlitters. Now that might have been a little bit startling. This is all just choosing how to quantize. At any given moment, whether it's raw truncation or dither or anything else of the sort, you got to quantize. It's going to pick a end location at a fixed point, and as the signal goes through that, it's got to pick one of these points at any given moment. RawTimbers tries to smooth out that algorithm so that if there's a sort of pointy triangle-y peak, and you've got truncation going here, it's always going to try to make the peak a little bit less. Or even if it's close to full truncation, there'll be a lot less. But that can also cause weird artifacts and stuff. You'll hear that it made the background noise considerably brighter than just truncation, but it mutes the hell out of the audio quality. Now, RawGlitters is doing literally the opposite, and I don't think it's very good for depth. It makes everything all glittery and bright and stuff, but this might be, people might enjoy this one. I bet there's some people who will be all over this. And again, it's not a dither. It's not correct at all. It's replacing the entire noise floor with a weird conglomeration, and that was by design, always was. And RawTimbers was the original idea. RawTimbers was the let's dull the noise floor down. Turns out it made the noise floor actually brighter and hissier, but you can plainly hear that the tone quality of the audio in there changes. And I'll demonstrate that. You can also demonstrate it a little bit by kicking in truncation before hitting it, because technically once this has been truncated, RawTimbers has nothing further to decide. There's little that it can do. Same with RawGlitters. I mean, there's a certain amount. Occasionally you'll get a place where it can switch entirely from one truncated point to another truncated point. But on the whole, there's a lot of subtle stuff that just gets cut out. I'll demonstrate that now. It starts sounding like Ditherbox. Excuse me. It's still getting a bit of an effect though. Now listen to what's happening to the drums and percussion and stuff when I full on go to. The noise is brighter, but the actual sound is completely muted. And there it is back again. And now we'll go to wildly exaggerated. And again, we can truncate. In this case, it's still taking rather large effect. We can turn them all on. That's pretty weird. In fact, while we're playing, okay, so that's interesting. So it turns out if you have both of them on in different sequences, you'll get somewhat different effects. And let's test that down into the noise floor. Here's just truncation. Here's just RawTimbers. Again, with this, you can't even hear any of the highs practically anymore. It's just completely muted. But then if we put RawGlitter in ahead of it, it becomes completely strange. Okay, so clearly you need to play with this stuff. This is goofy stuff and you got to play with it. Here's some bright stuff. And again, RawTimbers by itself, you're going to hear a noise floor that's quite sparky. Compared to this truncation, it's not changing the frequency balance intentionally, but it's got a lot of gross interaction. Whereas RawTimbers, some of that interaction is different. Like you can hear it cutting in there. But Timbers, the somewhat higher noise floor, is not coupling as tightly to like the mid-range as raw truncation was. And then we kick in glitters on top of that, and it does an even stranger thing. And then we'll reverse them again. Reversing them again makes the noise floor a lot louder, so we'll reverse them right back again. And again, this is raw truncation. And furthermore, there's no dithering. So if you compared it to, say, TPDF, excuse me, you get this. This is what the bottom of TPDF sounds like. You bring up a little bit of the audio, and you've got that, but the ones that are not dithering are just a big mess, or an incredibly bright mess, or a bright mess but all of the audio content is darkened. And with this one, when you get down to that quiet, it's going to be bright no matter what you're trying to do with it. But so this is RawTimbers, and it includes the plugin RawGlitters. And I'm going to get offline now and post it so that you can have it, and also I'm going to rest. But I hope you have some fun with this. I honestly had not tried RawGlitter into RawTimbers before turning this on, but it's going to be the same thing. It doesn't do anything other than truncation. So all of this is happening literally at the least significant bit. It's not even adding any energy. It's just doing raw truncation in a different way than you do from just taking the raw signal or dithering it or something. It's doing that equalizer effect thing where it's trying to smooth or it's trying to unsmooth out the result. And that does also give rise to a possible thing that you can do, which is this. Boop, turn it back. Okay, let's not do that. Ow, that really hurt. Let's do that. That hurt. Forgive me, I'm sick. I don't know what I'm doing. There's no bit shift gains anymore. We are at 24-bit. So if you make test files And you can hear the difference between this and this. And this. If you could ABX test those things at 24-bit, you can hear the 24th bit. And that is a shocking, shocking claim. But I'll go one step further. Let's say 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Boop. And boop. 16-bit. That was a pop. So this becomes 16-bit, and if you can hear the difference between this and this, like say a more muffled quality on the snare or something, and this, which is the brighter version, if you can hear in an ABX test, which is a very coarse and insensitive test, the difference between this and this, like every time, then you're hearing the 16th bit, and so on. Like it keeps going. For instance, I was demonstrating it using the -16. That puts the whole thing at an 8-bit. Let's maybe go to 16 of 15, maybe. Or 14. And I'll bring the other one up. Where'd it go? I gotta find it. There it is. Or did I just move that? Hang on, let me bring both of those up. I'm sick, I don't know what I'm doing. So, 16th bit floor is 8 bits down from 24. Then it's 10. Now we're listening to 14-bit. And again, if you can hear the difference between this and this, you can hear the 14th bit. And so on, like boop, boop. -12. +12. And this can be with loud or quiet sounds, although kind of decency would require that you be using something where you could play back the full volume sound if you wanted to, rather than just pick an incredibly quiet sound and then crank it up to the point where it would blow your speakers up. But yeah, so 24 minus 12 is 12. So here, if you can hear the difference between this and this. Now it's starting to get real obvious, isn't it? You can hear the 12th bit. So yeah, this is a way to make test files, and turn only one of them on at a time. With this, you can make test files where you have a fairly distinct difference between the one pass and the other pass. One of them will be glitters, one of them will be timbers. They're the opposite effect. And the point where you can hear the information being changed in a regular way is the point where you can absolutely and utterly prove that you can hear that bit in playback. And bear in mind the claim, or at least a common claim, is that you cannot hear the 16th bit. So even dither is kind of silly, and lossy compression is fine because you can't really hear stuff that far down anyway. And it's like, well, yeah, you absolutely can, depending upon the conditions that you're in. Like if you're in the car, maybe not so much. And this can help you gauge the threshold where that's provable beyond a shadow of a doubt, in case you wanted to prove something like that beyond a shadow of a doubt. Like, it's very obvious that even in a state of being completely sick and listening over headphones that are okay headphones, but they're just being powered out of the Mac, I could still hear the difference between glitters and timbers in 12-bit, and you can also hear that over YouTube compression. You got that. And you got that. And the hats in there are wildly different output. So it's just a matter of degrees, really. It's a matter of, set it up so that you can listen to a thing, and it's your full volume. Do it so you can stand that and it doesn't hurt you or break anything. And then when we take it down here, you got stuff like this where there is no question that you could double blind test these things all day long. So, can you do that at 14-bit? Can you do that at 16-bit? And can you do it over better equipment than these headphones, or like something that actually has tweeters, because this is a high-frequency effect, rather than just homebrew Franken Monster headphones with a microphone stuck on it? Anyway, that's RawTimbers. And RawGlitters is included in RawTimbers. It comes at the 24-bit level. You got to use bit shift gain if you're going to be using it for CDs, because it's too specialized a thing. Honestly, I don't really, whatever. But I guess happy holidays, and you got an unexpected present. I hope you enjoy playing with this stuff, and if it's interesting or enlightening to you, then good. All this is supported by Patreon, and Patreon is paying for like the cough drops that enable me to be making this video at all, and some zinc 50 milligrams over there that I probably should have used while I was coming down with the plague, rather than trying to get out of it using that, because I don't think that works nearly so well. And it keeps me going and working on this stuff. I mean, a couple of months ago, I didn't even have Dither Me Timbers, much less this. So as I'm continuing to work, new things come and happen. And for all I know, I've just put out the latest ultra flashy secret weapon for certain styles of music. I guess it all depends upon whether you can stand to do insane peak limiting into RawGlitters, because RawGlitters brings out highs and detail that don't really belong there because it's not a dither, it's an EQ. And I wouldn't be terribly surprised if there were people that got excited at the idea of going, oh, you mean I can have things be unbearably ridiculously loud and then use my dither to make it even brighter and louder? Cool. Oh well, I guess I just made that. So enjoy. Please support my Patreon if you want me to stay alive in doing these things. These terrible, terrible things. And I'll probably be talking to you this Monday, so I'll talk to you sooner as well as later. I'll be trying to do my live streams as usual. Might be a little like lower intensity than sometimes, but I can make an appearance. And I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.